Taking away the death penalty is disproportionate to the crime. There are many criminals who are in prison for life for their third offense. Life is unmeasurable, it's very precious, and you can't compare it to other crimes. Stated by Professor, according to the Associate Professor of Philosophy at Pasadena City College, we reserve the death penalty in the United States for the most heinous murders and the most brutal and conscienceless murders. Put another way, to sentence killers like those described above to lessen death would fail to do justice because the penalty, presumably a long period in prison, would be grossly disproportionate to the heinous of the crime. Prosecutors, jurors, and the loved ones of the murder victims understand this essential point. Historically, the Eighth Amendment was understood to bar only those punishments that add terror, pain, or disgrace to an otherwise permissible capital sentence. I would not presume to tell parents whose life has been forever altered by the brutal murder of a child that life imprisonment is punishment enough. Distinguished professor of political science at the University of South Dakota states, by including a phrase that allowed for the possibility that citizens might be denied their life, liberty, or property if certain procedural safeguards were in place, the founding fathers implied that individual life might be taken by the state under the right circumstances. So this only shows that it is constitutional. Taking away the death penalty would be unconstitutional. Democracy has spoken. According to a Gallup report, 60% of respondents said they support capital punishment, off 1 percentage point from last year, while opposition remained at 37%. And this Gallup report was from 2016. Not only that, it's very moral to kill someone who's done a lot of these heinous crimes. According to Immanuel Kant, a German 18th century philosopher, even if a civil society were to be dissolved by the consent of all of its members, if a people inhabiting an island decided to separate and disperse throughout the world, the last murderer remaining in prison would first have to be executed so that each has done to him what his deeds deserve. According to English philosopher and physician John Locke, the end of the law is not to abolish or to restrain, but to preserve and enlarge freedom. Lastly, the burden of proof in this debate about the death penalty is on the abolitionist side, and it is not merely to show that there are questionable or sympathetic or problematic cases, as there are in every aspect of litigation. What they must show is that every execution is wrong. Abolition means abolition, the end of it, period. And this was according to the counselor of the head of the Drug Enforcement Administration of the U.S. Department of Justice. There are two central problems, I think, with a strict abolitionist argument. One is that it is a one-size-fits-all. It doesn't pester me with the facts sort of position. It doesn't matter under that position what the killer did, how utterly incontestable the evidence is of his guilt, how gruesome or cold-blooded his offense was. Also by the Head Enforcement Administration of the U.S. Department of Justice. Abolishing the death penalty is disproportionate. It's not democratic. It's moral, and it'll be taking away justice from many families that deserve closure. Thank you.